Okay, so today we are going to attempt to make these five icons we see. We also actually have a lot of them, but I have just masked them so that we can focus on the first five in the row. And we are going to build it with basic geometrical shapes. The idea here is not to actually go and trace on top of them, but rather understand how they are composed using simple geometrical shapes. And also, if you zoom out, you see that there is this depth because of the drop shadow. So we will also see how we can do that. And apart from that, there are some organic shapes which requires path and pathfinder operations. So those we are going to look at. So we are going to start with the artboard tool, and I'm going to go to the properties panel and find out the place where I can add artboard. So here is the artboard panel, and I'm gonna click on new artboard. Okay, I'm just gonna pull this on the right a little so that we have ample amount of space in between. And let's start with this first icon. So I'm going to make a copy of it and place it here, and we will start constructing this one. So fairly simple. The first thing we will do is create an ellipse. I'm holding shift and alt both because I wanted to constrain the proportion of width and
Shift and Option.
yeah, shift and option both. Okay, I'll use the Mac lingo here onwards. So I'm trying to roughly make it the same size as uh, the reference, but it is fine. Even if I go smaller or larger, we should be able to scale it up when we are done with it because it's all vector. I'm gonna use the shortcut option scroll in and scroll out to zoom in and zoom out. Okay, and then let's analyze the shapes here. And if you exactly want to make the same size, try using guidelines. So make sure that the ruler is on. If it is not on, press Command R on the keyboard. It's a toggle key. Command R will bring it back, and it can make it disappear also. So Command plus R on the keyboard. And for making the guidelines, you just have to go on top of the ruler and then drag and place it where you exactly want it. So I just wanted to refer to the height of this lock, and then I see that there are four rectangles, right? All of them have different colors. So there are multiple ways how we can attempt it. Either we can create four rectangles, and I'm gonna hit I every time I create a rectangle to pick out color from here. Then I'm going to make a copy of it. Hit I
What is
again.
I?
I,
What is
I.
I?
I is the keystroke. I for ice cream.
I for ice cream. Okay.
Yeah, that gives you that's a hotkey
Eyedropper.
for the eyedropper tool. You can also get it from this toolbar. There is this eye. Okay. Now I'm gonna select both of them and try to resize it if I haven't got it right at the first go. I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not going for the precise measurements. This much looks fine. And then I'm going to make copy of these two by holding Option and Shift and then dragging it down and resize it from here. And then I'm going to also, uh, I think we need to pull it down a little. Yeah. And you can also see that the pink line is giving me reference. Then I'm going to select these two and connect it like so. Select this block. Again, hit I on the keyboard and I'm going to pick color from here. Select this one, hit I on the keyboard and pick this one. Very simple. Now we have to round the corners off. So either there are two ways now. You'll have to understand it. I'm going to place it in the center first. Okay. Either I select these corners by switching to sub-selection tool, and then use the corner to drag it like so. But in that, I think have to zoom in a little bit so that I can get access to exact corners I want to scale. So you have to select all the shapes first. All four of them should be selected. Then switch to the sub selection tool and start clicking on the corner handles. Hold shift and click on this one. Then hold shift and click on this one. Hold shift and click on this one. Don't let go of the shift essentially. Keep it right. Now drag it from any of the corners and you will see that the rounding happens. So this is one way of doing it. Another way is you create a bigger rectangle on top of it. I'm going to show you that option as well. So I'm going to say Control Z quickly. And let me just copy it here. So what I'm going to do is make a copy of this, Control C, and paste it on top of everything. So I'm going to select everything and say Control F. Seems as if nothing happened, but actually I have two copies of the same rectangle here, which aligns it perfectly with the top left corner. Now I'm going to use the transformation gizmo to make a bigger rectangle which encompasses all four of the rectangles. And now I just have to use the corner handle to give it a curvature of our choice, and you see that the corners are peeking out. That's all right. What we have to do is select all the shapes, everything. So there are four rectangles at the back and one big rectangle which is on the top, which I have also given corner angles. Now all I have to do is press Ctrl 7 on the keyboard and you will get that shape. So what I did here is I used compound path to
Was it
create.
Control 7 or Command 7?
It's Command 7. Sorry, it's Command 7. Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah, it's
it's a
Command 7.
Macintosh.
Yep. Sorry. It's Command 7. Now this way, the added advantage is if I select it, I don't have to every time go and then click on all four of the corner points, but rather I just switch to this. Uh, uh, Let me show you. So you select this compound path, it's just one single thing, and then you have to switch to sub selection tool, and instantly you will get access to four handles. And see, you can control all of them at once. You don't have to select all of them separately. So this is, if this looks complicated, we can go back to the previous step and select all four and then shift click to select all four corner points and then do it at once. So both the options are fine. It's just that if I deselect, next time if I want to change something, I'll have to again make all the selections once all over again. So now you know both the methods. Use any of your as per your liking, that's fine. Now we have to build this path, right? Looks pretty simple, right? We can use Pathfinder to get this. There are many ways, but we are going to go the simple way. So I'm gonna create a guideline and then just roughly eyeballing the size of it, I'm gonna draw a rectangle. Okay, now I'm going to use the sub selection tool to select this corner handle, and then drag them till the time I get the upper curve. Okay, now I'm going to make a copy of this one, Control C, and paste it on top of it, Control F. So this way I have two variations of it. Okay, uh, two versions of it, one sitting on top of the other. Now this may not give us the exact result we want, but I want to show you if we are uh, there are a couple of methods. Either I use this one or I'll use the offset method. So This is still hit and trial. I'm gonna change its color. So hit I on the keyboard and I'm going to pick out this yellow color and reduce the size of it by holding shift and option. And I think this is working out good for us. But look here, the distance is uniform throughout. This thickness is consistent throughout. And here if we see, the distance is narrow here and it grows thicker. Even if I push the shape up or down, it's not helping me out. So the only way to do it is by using these corner handles. So I'm gonna select both of them and then push it up slightly till the time I get that uniformity in the distance between these two. I think this much is fine. Okay. All right. Now we have to extend the bottom part, and for that I can click here and then simply drag it down. And now we will use the top shape to clip out the excess space. So this is how it is right now. I'm gonna trim out the bottom shape with the help of top shape. And I also want to preserve this one because I need to create this band as well. So I'm just going to copy this top shape, Control C, Command C, and then shift click to select both of them and then go to Pathfinder. You can find it here in the properties panel, or alternatively you can go to Windows and look for Pathfinder, or you can press Command Shift F9 on the keyboard. Okay, so I'm gonna use the second shape mod, which is minus front, and that gives me this. Mm, my mouse is behaving strangely. I'm okay. Back on track. So that gives me this strip we need. Okay, and I still have the shape which I have copied. So I'm gonna paste it back by saying Control F, and then again I'll paste it once again, Control F. So I have two copies of it, and I'm going to resize the top one like I did earlier, and then use the corner handles, these two, to adjust it, reduce the size a little more, I think. No, I think this much is fine. For getting better control at transformation, zoom in as much as you can and then use the handles. If it is sticking to the grid, see, if I drag it up, you will notice that it's not smoothly transforming but sticking to the grid. Now, if that is the case, press Control K, Command K in your case, Command plus K on the keyboard, and there is this option uh, which we need to switch off. Where is the snap options? Snap to point. It says 2 pixels. Let's just switch this off. I don't want any snapping to happen. Let's and quickly look for other places also where there is any snap settings enabled. Hmm, I think that should do. So let me just say OK and then test it. Oh, it is still snapping. So we have to go to the view menu and then look for snap settings. Uh, yeah, so here are the snap settings. It says snap to pixel. We need to switch this off. Now this is behaving precisely the way we want. Sometimes these little nuances really, frustrates you, but there are ways to handle it. So you go to view menu and then make sure that snap to pixel is off. Okay, and now I can push it up as much as I want, and once I'm happy with it, I'll just let go of things and then drag it all the way down, and then select this one and the bottom one. So let me just color it differently so that it's easier to see. So I'm just gonna pick out white color from here and select this bottom one and then push it up. Okay, make sure that it is aligning perfectly. Otherwise also it is fine, we can trim that off later on. So let it be like this. We will use a rectangle to trim that off. Okay, now the top one and the middle one, we will select both by holding shift. Go to the pathfinder again, use the shape mod, the second shape mod, which is minus front, and done. Now we will use a rectangle and select the rectangle and this strip we have made, and again use the second shape mod minus front to get what we need. We can group these two together, but before we do so, let's quickly pick out the colors. So I'm gonna hit I on the keyboard and pick color, then press V on the keyboard, select the thicker strip, press I on the keyboard and pick out the color from there as well. Okay, simple. Now let's change the color of the background also. So I'm gonna select the circle at the background, press I on the keyboard. Okay, press I on the keyboard and pick out the background color. I think we have made the strips slightly thinner than it should be, but that's fine because we are not tracing, we are just taking the reference. However, if we need to make this little more thicker, we can do so simply by selecting it and increasing the size a little bit. And we can get rid of this extra part by using a rectangle and selecting everything which we want to trim and click on this. Now in this case, you have noticed that it accidentally also gotten rid of the extra strip we had in the middle. So why that happened? Because this shape mod doesn't work out with more than two objects. So what we do is make a copy of this rectangle, keep it in my clipboard and do the operation twice. So first I'm gonna select the rectangle, shift click on this strip, click on this icon to trim at, then select this thicker strip, press Ctrl F to paste the rectangle back here. Make sure that both of them are selected and use this again. Now this way we have increased the thickness of it, but I realized that we have extended the length as well. So I'm gonna select both of it and then drop it like this. Okay, looks pretty much what we wanted to do. Now the last thing is creating this shadow. Now this shadow is simply created with the help of pen tool. So we don't have to worry much about doing this. Now there are ways how we can do that. Either we use the pen tool or we use the shape builder tool. So for the shape builder tool, I can simply create a rectangle first, rotate the rectangle and place it where we need it. Okay. Uh, we can use the corner handles to set it where we want. Okay. If this is difficult to find out where it should be, you can reduce the opacity of it also by going to the appearance panel and let me just, yeah, in the appearance panel, and there is this opacity. You can reduce it a little just so that you are able to see what's there in the background, and later on we can just make it 100%. That's fine. So now we need only this much area, right? This much part of it. So how do we get that? We will select everything which is there. Okay, everything which is there. Now just to avoid complexity, let me just pull this down also because I don't want these lines to interact with these. it will create unnecessary complexity. We just want this area, this part. So I've selected everything, and I'll try to reduce the complexity by excluding the shapes which are not required. In this case, there are none, right? All the shapes are required. At least this side, it is required. So I'm just gonna quickly go to Shape Builder tool, hover on top, and the moment I hover on top, you see that this shape is getting recognized. So I'll just click on this and let go of the mouse button, then use my Option key and get rid of this, get rid of this. Now in this case, you see it got rid of the entire circle. Yeah, so it's not a good idea to get rid of that part. I have already recognized this shape, so I can simply switch back to the move tool, and manually we can get rid of these shapes. uh, okay, I have to go a few steps back first, and yeah, so this part is gone, and this part is also gone. Excellent. Now I'm gonna hold I on the keyboard and copy the shadow effect. So this is what we have done. We have created a replica of this logo, and we have not traced anything. We have created everything from scratch. Just hold for a second, Lisa. Hello.
Hi, is the
Yeah,
baby okay?
yeah, she's okay. All right. She keeps on doing this attack all day long. She's growing and she is very curious, so she wants to check everything, and she hurts, herself. But she's fine now. Yeah.
We have to
Okay.
start recording again.
Yeah. It is recording actually. I let it. Uh, so I'm gonna stop recording because this one part is there, and then I'll again record. Okay. Yeah. Let me just
Okay.
stop this.